Howdy, Possum Patty here, and I'm making some flowers for spring. Right now I am slow stitching around the petals of this 3-layered quilted spring flower made from material and batting. And here's one that's finished. Has 3 layers to center. The first layer, and it is quilted around the edge, and the last layer is also quilted around the edge. Nice and soft with beautiful spring colors. I was in Walmart the other day, and at the end of one of the aisles had this really pretty spring material. These are fat quarters for quilting, and I thought I would pick up the material because they're only like $1 change each, and try and put it in my Sizzix Big Shot die cutting machine. Now I'm working with these dies that I bought the other day. I got these on clearance at Michael's. The whole set only cost me $5. And because they're not intricate, it's just like a plain die, it gives you lots of opportunities to design your own flowers. A lot of the dies these days, these thin dies, are very intricate. And basically you use it and cut out a beautiful pattern. But with these plain dies, you can use it on a variety of materials and come up with all different designs using the same die. So this is how I made these flowers from material. I got a pile here that I'm working on sewing. That'll take me a while to do that. Let me just put that down. So with the Sizzix, I took the platform, the thin die adapter, cutting plate, and then I used one piece of paper and one thin piece of material. Oop. And I have my large one first. Make sure it's in the center. And make sure it's on the paper. And then the medium. And then the little one, which I always lose. Somebody told me to get some magnetic, just the one, yeah. Somebody told me to get some sheets of magnetic material, magnetic metal or something, keep my dies on so I don't keep dropping them on the floor. I put my top plate on and I just ran it through and back again. Crackle, crackle, crackle. And carefully lift this up. And I got my flower made from material. And the center. And now take a piece of batting. Oh, wait, I gotta move my paper ones first. So I get 2 sets of flowers with every cut. These I'm putting aside. I'm gonna make these later. I'll work on these. So now I'm gonna take another piece of paper, put that down, and then the batting for underneath the flower. I'm using the same die cuts. And my top plate. Send it through. Crank, 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 crank. Kitty's trying to get my attention. Oop. everything cuts very nicely. Look at that. And the large one. Now I used two different materials, so I'll do this off camera and be right back. Okay, next I just took a glue stick. This is an old one, but there's something left. And I glued the material to the batting with the glue stick, just to hold everything down and together before I stitch them. A little glue stick on there, put it right down on the batting. Do the other one. I just love this material. It's so springy. Yesterday we had a temperature of 16 degrees. March 2nd. We have snow and ice still on the ground. We had wind gusts of like 45 miles an hour, which brought the wind chill factor down to, you know, like 0. But it was sunny. Temperatures are supposed to go back up, which will be nice. Almost time to plant the pansies. And I cut two different kinds of material here because I like to layer the different ones. Just put that in the middle for now. Keep it together, and then I need the flower one, which is down here. Okay, once I get glue stick in my fingers, then that's the end of that, right? Glue stick on that one. And that together. Very easy to do. And that'll hold it together until I stitch it. Add that to my pile. Do this one. Glue stick. The batting. And glue this down in the center of that one. And one little last piece. Oops. Put that together. Oops. I have a sewing machine, but I like the look of the hand stitches. Makes it look more homemade. Makes a nice design on there. And done. So now I got a pile of these I got to stitch. This is all sticky. Okay, so that's my spring ones, but let me show you some of the other ones that I've been working on. Dee over at Betsy Doodles has been doing some really shiny flowers, and this same die cut works really well with this design that she's doing. And let's see, I made a couple of these. Well, I made 4 big ones. And some leaves. Let me just show you closer up here. Aren't these gorgeous? Now these are made with all kinds of different shiny paints and glitters. I'll show you in a second. Look at this blue one. And in the center of these, I put these little gems that came on a card from the Dollar Tree. And so she was making these really shiny, shiny ones. So I went into the closet and looked for everything shiny. Part of my die cuts in here. And I have some glitter glue and some acrylic paints that were iridescent, bronze, a couple of stickles, and I had these little pots of shimmer. But I discovered that I put it on with my fingers, and these really stain a lot. So I gotta be careful when I use these. I used a little bit of pearl, the liquid pearl. I used a little bit of that. And then I had these markers that have glitter in them. They're really pretty. So anything that was glittery or sparkly or shiny or iridescent, glitter glue. I pulled it all out and then just made a combination. Now on these flowers, and we made these a little bit differently, so let me show you how we made these. Let me get my stuff and I'll be right back. Okay, to make this one, the first thing that she did was to run the paper through an embossing folder to get some really neat texture. So I have this one that's like flowers and lace. And I'm using black paper. She used like a heavyweight material from a menu, from a pub menu. And then she put black gesso on it. But I'm just skipping that whole step and going straight to black paper because I only had a few sheets of this left, so I figured I might as well just use it up. So I have my platform, one plate, and where's my other plate? Over here. Okay, for the embossing folder, you use 2 plates. And run it through. And back again. And now I have my texture. And now I'm going to use the die cuts. I'm going to use the same one, so I need my adapter in there. And I have my large cutter. In the middle, and the small one. These just about fit on here, so you gotta put them carefully. They do fit. Okay, and the top plate. I guess it'll help if I put this down here, right? Okay, top plate. Run this through, and I'm very new at this, so this is all very exciting for me. All this die cutting stuff. Okay, and there's my cuts. Now the idea with these very shiny glittery flowers is to make sure some of the black is still showing. So you want to put the paint on with your finger and skim it across so you just catch the texture on here. And try not to cover all the black. So I just pulled out a couple of shiny things. I'm going to put a little bit of this liquid pearl on here. This is very pretty. And I just put it on the mat. A little bit on my finger. And just try to catch the raised parts. I don't worry too much about the middle because that's going to be covered. So as long as I got some different colors around the edge, I'm happy. Okay, I'm going to add some of this pink stickles. Glam pink. Oops. Come back here. And just dab a little bit of that on there. Now I'm just putting a little touch of iridescent bronze on there, just to make it look a little bit different from the other one. If I had gold, I'd be putting gold. Oh, I do have some gold gouache. Oh, I'll have to get my gold gouache out. Make one gold. But I think the bronze goes nice with the teal. It gets very messy, therefore very satisfying. So just to thank Dee over at Betsy Doodles for this idea. She came out with that video just in time, just as I was playing with these large die cuts. Okay, then I just have to let this dry. And then I'll put that together. And then I'll put something in the middle. This one I put the liquid pearl in the middle. And on these, like I said, I put the little jewels in the middle. All right, so let me clean my hands because I just have a couple more ideas I want to show you really quickly. Another idea that I had was I have a bunch of cards that I made out of some really cheap watercolor paper. And we were using these cards at a program at a state park with the kids, and I had some cards left over, so I just used the dies to cut out this plain watercolor paper, and then I used different colors of distress ink and just inked them up, and then I gave them a little spritz with just some water, and I let them dry. And then I took my $1 embossing tool from the Dollar Tree, and on each petal, I went around like this. I pressed into the paper, so it gives it just a little bit of the hint of a design on each leaf. I did the big leaves and the little ones and the little tiny ones. And then I glued it all together, and I went over it with some glitter glue, some pink and some yellow glitter glue, and I put a little bling in the middle. So these blings are from the Dollar Tree, and this $1 embossing tool is from the Dollar Tree. So here are the blings that I got. You get a whole page for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And I thought these little pink ones were cute. And it looks cute in the center of the flower. And these larger ones, I cut it out so I got a complete circle around each middle one. And I put those on these. Then I made a little one look like a sunflower. Probably make a big one looking like a sunflower too. And this one has a bling. Oh, on the sunflower one, this was fun. I took the embossing tool and I went around on each leaf, and then I pressed down in the center part. Give that a little texture too. And then of course I put glitter on it. Using this embossing tool is very easy. You just basically press down. I could do one real quick for you. Let me zoom in. Zoom, zoom. And how I did the leaves, I just started in the middle and pressed down like that and run around in a swirl. And I did this on each leaf doesn't have to be perfect, just doing a fun little swirl on each leaf. I think it just gives it a little extra added dimension. And I went around and around and did it on each one. Now this is thick watercolor paper, so it doesn't go through to the other side. Well, it does a little bit. Wow, I must have pressed really hard. That one did go through a little bit. But most of the design's on that side. And then I did this one. And then I did the little tiny one. And I inked them up, sprayed them, glued them together, and glittered. So these were a lot of fun. And I like this one. It's little, so maybe this is a black-eyed Susan. I'll do some bigger ones that look like sunflowers. And the leaf, nice and sparkly. And this last idea, I just used 3 different designs. And I got them from this block of paper, was I think $3 on clearance at Michael's to get 180 sheets. And it's kind of thin, but I ran them through the embossing folder, and you can see on the back. Put a little texture on there, and I don't really think I needed to do that. But I did it just to try it. I'm experimenting. And I glued them together, and I put these brads in. Now I got these brads, they're really cute. I got these on clearance at Michael's the other day. They were 40% off. And I put one through the center of each flower. And then I put some of this glitter glue, and I got this at Walmart the other day. Iridescent glitter glue. That didn't cost very much, a lot cheaper than getting stickles. And so now I made 3 of these flowers. I like it with a little metal brad in the middle. Gives it a little extra dimension. So I have 4 completely different styles of flowers made with the same dies. And I'll probably come up with some more ideas on that too. Give me a couple of days, I'll work on it. But these were a lot of fun. Of course, I have a lot of sewing to do here before I start something new. But it just shows how many different kinds of looks you can get when you use a plain die. So I just want to wish everybody happy making. And thanks for coming along. Bye-bye now.